Fanatics tried to get the license from Panini, and that froze all of Panini's products for a few months. I was blown away when I saw it. I do agree with you, going back to the original point, where in 40 years are going to be all these one-on-ones. It's crazy. I mean, in one sense, it's a cool data point to have for somebody who owns that card and says, hey, well, PSA will pay me this. On the other side, they're the ones grading the card.
Exactly.
Honestly, the percentage, man, it's got to be like 4-1, right? It's
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, it's got to be up. It's got to be up there.
And now, making his entrance to the ring, wearing the red and black of the NWO Wolfpack.
I don't think people talk about this enough, so I'm very curious. Do you have customers, or however you want to, whatever you clients, I don't know which way, breakers or people buying in, go on just terrible? I mean, if I'm a bookie, I see some of my clientele just going on terrible runs.
Yeah.
Do you have that? Do you know, I'm sure you know some of your people, and it's like, they just have crushing months.
So it goes both ways though. Yes. There are people who just, are regulars in our breaks, and they go on a very cold streak, and they finally get, a $500 or $600 card, and it feels like the best in the world, because it feels like they're snapping a cold streak. On the other side of things, we see people just buy in for the first time and just go on monster tears. It goes both ways. And we do some gamification. We make it a little more fun with some bounties for 101s and, bounties for certain serial numbers, just as a way to, improve the quality of the break. Maybe the break doesn't have a big card, but hey, we haven't hit a bounty, in 12 breaks, and it just keeps growing. It's like a progressive jackpot, if you want to call it, similar to that. And now, for example, we have a minor bounty, a major bounty system. Minor bounty is we roll a number 1 to 99. The left side serial number gets hit, whatever the bounty is, and it goes up $100 a break. Whatever the bounty is, they get that in cash or store credit. We do the same for the major bounty, and that's any number 100 to 299. And sometimes it gets up there because it's hard to hit 283 was our last number, I think, or 293 was our last number. And so just literally 2 nights ago, we hadn't hit this bounty in something like 344 breaks or something like that. And on a 2025 Donruss to 499 of like Devin DuVernay for the Baltimore Ravens, it was number 293 of 499. In any other breaker's world, that card doesn't matter. That's a $2 card. In our world, that card was worth $11,700 to the person who hit it. So
that's the jackpot.
Yeah, and then that bounty resets all the way down to $50. So we do stuff like that. We try to give away cards and breaks and play serial number games and things of that nature to kind of differentiate our breaks from others. My specialty is mixers. We hold where we stock a lot of older product. So we're not just out there breaking the brand new stuff out this week. We're doing, the better products from the past 6 months. So.
A mixer is just different things in the show.
Yeah. So like a mixer. So like you could buy into like a full case of like tier 1 baseball, which is a brand new baseball set. You can buy into a full case of that. And like every breaker in the world that does baseball is offering half casers and full casers of tier 1. We'll just mix that with like, let's say we have some backstock of Finest and Chrome and other products released this year. So we'll do like 4 boxes of tier 1, which is a new product. We'll mix it up with Finest. We'll mix it up with Chrome. And that's great for a product like tier 1, for example, which is 4 cards per box. So they'll run a full case break with 30 teams in it and only 48 cards. So a lot of teams just aren't going to get a single card. But then we'll look at card count and we'll make sure that there is like 300-ish cards in a break or more, so that, even if you don't get a big hit, you're still going to get rookies. You're still going to get something. And if you don't have a good break with us, we're going to send you a pack or two, or like a retail pack or a old like heritage pack or something like that. So I don't like it when you walk away from a break with absolutely nothing, just nothing to show for it. So I try to, when we do our breaks, we try to make it so, hey, you might not hit something in a break, but you're always going to get a package from us.
We're going to pivot back to a different possible conflict of interest. Sure. PSA is now buying back cards.
Yeah, I saw this last week.
It seems like it could definitely be a conflict of interest. What were your initial thoughts when you saw it?
I was blown away when I saw it, because I don't really, anytime I graded in the past, I would use a third party, like a company that sends in your cards for you, preps them, sends it in. Just a matter of convenience for me. I didn't have time to prep it. Now I have some employees that are, interested in doing that and willing to do that, and willing to take that work on. So we started to prep some submissions in house now, and use the app. And my buddy, who's all up in that, and he doesn't work for me, but he was over here showing me. He's like, I have $168 offer for this Steph Curry to 199. I was like, wait a minute, show me this. And so I went around my PC and I just started scanning in cards. They have like the cert recognition. And I was like, what are they offering for this? And I found this Drake May that I had from last year. It was like a Bowman Collegiate. And they're like $688 offer. And I was like, what the hell? Like what? Like, so yeah, I was very surprised when I saw it.
Can you send that card to them and have them buy it?
Yeah.
Oh, they'll do it that way too, huh?
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, in one sense, it's a cool data point to have for somebody who owns that card and says, hey, well, PSA will pay me this. So what will you pay me? At a show or something, I could see that, the utility for it. On the other side, they're the ones grading the cards.
Exactly.
And there's a period from the time your order gets graded until the time they ship your cards where you can just accept their offers on cards that, you know, they've just graded. Is that a conflict of interest? Yeah. Unless it's done, you know, very transparently. And there's, you know, yeah, definitely. They could be an incentive to give more 10s, you know, it's very.
But then it extends to the next thing, which now they're selling mystery packs or graded grails.
Yep.
So that adds a whole nother layer to the whole story.
Correct. It's, you know, is there room there to gamify the whole system? And, you know, 10s are, you know, now being given out like, you know, yes, absolutely. Do I think that's happening? I don't know. I don't have enough data. I don't have enough information. I don't know anybody who works at PSA. And I don't really stay up on the mystery packs, the repack stuff enough. I stay up enough to know that I don't like the direction all that stuff's headed.
Yeah.
But I haven't spent an ample amount of time on any of the platforms to really get my head wrapped around it.
Does your channel do, you know, I know mystery packs are a thing. I'm still curious how much of a thing. It's hard to really and I'm not a big fan of how Arena Club advertises or whatnot. That's a different company, or a different niche. But your take on mystery packs? Do you run them? What do you think about mystery packs?
I used to try to run like 2 or 3 a year for sports. And it was just a way for me to move some cards that I had on hand. And I would.
Hey, you're honest. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know, I would, if I felt like I didn't have enough ceiling cards, I would buy some really nice cards to kind of sell through all the other stuff that I had on hand. The way that we did it, though, was incredibly transparent. The way that we would do it, I would make a full public checklist with comps, and we would use the median comp of the last 3 to 5 sold. And then I'd discount off of that. I'd comp everything. I'd say, okay, we're doing 50 packs. The average value is, let's just make it easy. Let's say $10,000. Pack should be $200 here. They're going to be $190. That doesn't even account for like our shipping costs, our platform fees, any of that stuff. So there would be a full checklist. If you go to my website right now, I think there is there a tab called specials or something like that? And it literally has, if you go to specials, it literally has every repack I ever did all the way back to like 2021. And it has all the data there. I believe in just leaving that there for people to read. Those are all my offerings ever for mystery packs, from my first one to the last one. Nowadays, the only mystery packs I do are WWE packs because they're incredibly fun to do. Once again, we do it the same way. Full checklist is available. Before you buy in, the full checklist, all the raw data is right there. You can determine if it's a good deal or not. You can see the ceiling. You can see the floor. All the data is there, and they usually sell out in like 6 hours.
How do you buy one of those? I think I think that might be a coming up video. How do you buy one of those WWE mystery packs?
Our next one, we're going to do one with Survivor Series. I usually try to do the big show. So I try to do Survivor Series, Rumble, Mania, SummerSlam. I don't think I did one with SummerSlam this year. So I usually do between 50 to 80 of them. And I'll put them on sale, and they'll usually sell out in like 6 or 8 hours, just because we have.
Oh, it's that popular.
We have the biggest WWE crowd for breaking cards. I hit some algorithms on YouTube that targeted just WWE fans, and now we have people in our live streams, probably kids because of the way they chat. When are the WWE cards? And they just want to see WWE, even though we break everything. Also, there was a period for the last year or so where, you know, there just was no WWE products. So doing packs and things of that, you know, helped bridge the gap between the releases. And now we're finally starting to get some of the releases from Topps.
All right, let me get to vent for a moment.
Yep.
right now I find that everything's so overpriced. It's not priced for someone that makes regular money.
Mhm.
So I can find some, okay, at a show, I found a $50 hobby box of Garbage Pail Kids for
Yep.
$50, 24 packs. That's a good time.
Yep.
I used to be that way with the wrestling stuff. Wrestling was kind of a side. It wasn't as expensive as all this stuff, but wrestling has gotten, $400 a box. And that just, to me, it doesn't feel like a value proposition. It's not a fun thing. It's a gambling thing at this point. I feel it's rough for me. That one makes me sad because
Yep.
wrestling was still kind of on the list that I could go buy.
Yeah. Yeah. You can thank Panini for that. Cause they tried to, I don't know if you were there when they took over the license in 2022. The first set was Prism. First off the line sold out at $1,066 a box. And I know that because I have a case and I bought it at Floor. And it felt like a huge win at the time. And then the wrestling market totally rejected the price point of $1,000 Prism, which was insane compared to anything else Topps did. And then that product got as low as 2022 Prism got as low as $200 a box at one point. First off the line was like $450. I still have that case. One of my favorite things to collect is sealed wrestling, specifically first off the lines. I have every single case of first off the line that Panini produced except for like 3. And there's just none out there. I'll never see those. But then after that, the prices started to stabilize and get back to where they were, a little more elevated than where they were when Topps had the license in 2021 and prior. Stuff like Select was like $200 a box. And that's still a lot of money. Like $200 for wrestling is still a lot of money. But wrestling cards gained immense popularity during Panini's era with them.
And I'd still take 200, but now it's more, I feel.
Yeah. And so we had some lengthy delays. There was that first delay where Fanatics tried to get the license from Panini, and that froze all of Panini's products for a few months, which caused products to go up. And then Panini finished off their time in about another year run with just an absolute bang. They killed it for their final year with the license. They don't do a lot of things right. They couldn't do anything wrong with wrestling. We had, and National Treasures was kind of a sticker dump. Give them that. Now it has Hogan autos, which is a really big deal. But it didn't have Cody and Roman autos. But everything else was insane. Select was really good for 24. Three count wrestling was amazing with the downtowns, and I'm not a big downtown person. And then you had National Treasures, and then they ended with Flawless, which in my opinion, Flawless, greatest professional wrestling set ever.
How come? Why?
Because nobody had ever seen it. I mean, Topps did Transcendent, and it was more expensive. Had Vince McMahon autos back in 2020, 2019.
Oh, he doesn't sign. All his autos are worth good money. He does not sign.
But Flawless was just like the greatest wrestling set you're ever going to see. It had every autograph, had gemstones, just had the nastiest patches. It was just like, if you like high-end
Is this a specific year?
They only did it once. They did 2024 Flawless. It was their final wrestling set before Topps took over the license.
Is Topps have it back now? It's because Topps Chrome came out with wrestling, so it's back to Topps.
Yep. And Topps Chrome, if you remember, Topps Chrome did come out at like $300, $350 a box. And then they released Chrome. They did a small retail run, which quickly dried up, and retail started going up a lot, which meant hobby started going up a lot. They did Sapphire a couple of months later. And then there was no wrestling sets from April up until this Cactus Jack set that just came out, 3-4 weeks ago. And because of that layoff, Topps Chrome, the only set in town, went up to $450 a box, then $500, then $600 a box. And then all the Panini stuff, people just wanted to rip wrestling. Breakers had to, fill their breaks with other stuff. People went back to all the Panini stuff. The market for that dried up. Like, there's very little of that available in the market now. And the ones that are, now you're looking at 2022 Prism is now a $350 box. 2024 Select is a $400 box. And that's just based off of supply and demand. Like, that's reasonable. Those products have been out for years. There might not be a lot left. That's just supply and demand economics. But on the flip side, Topps, not releasing sets for whatever reason all throughout the year caused Topps Chrome to go to $600. When the next set came out, which was Cactus Jack, everybody just, assumed it was going to be a $500, $450, $500 set. It was for release week because that's, the next set, people wanted to rip it. And then they just realized that, without the autos, it wasn't as good as Topps Chrome, even though the singles for that are selling reasonably well.
What did it fall to?
I mean, right now, box of Cactus are in the $350 range. And next week we have Finest coming out, which is appearing to be in the $400 range.
So they're just gonna make way too. Oh, god damn it! It's like so they're gonna try to make wrestling product like they're coming out with baseball product.
It's wrestling is more niche, so they're not going to make as many of the sets.
That's a lot. That's a lot. It used to be one, and we got lucky if we got 1 or 2 a year.
Here's the thing: I think we're gonna get at least 2 or 3 more before the year's end. And the way that the market is, with just there's no back product available at a reasonable price, what the market needs is just these monster old heritage sets that have a bazillion parallels and retail and everything. It needs several like big sets like that for market prices to stabilize for wrestling cards. Is that going to happen? I don't think so, because we know that this like Universal set is going to come out, and Universal has like the WrestleMania patches, which are like the debut patches over in baseball, and that's going to be a big chase. Yep. And then we know we have Finest coming out,
but there's no $50,000 W. Is that why they're less?
No, there are $50,000 WWE.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Yes.
All right.
Yes, there are grails.
It should be the Vince McMahon rookie, the Andre the Giant. It shouldn't be this new stuff.
It's interesting because there's actually, and to go a little bit down the rabbit hole, there's older wrestling collectors, and then there's the more modern collectors, and the vintage collectors dislike the modern collectors. And it's this whole Twitter drama that's kind of
interesting. I don't dislike them. I liked it, but yeah, okay.
So I like trading cards. I like old trading cards. I like new trading cards. I'm not the type of person that needs the new shiniest, latest thing. Some of the cards that I want the most are some of the dumbest shit you would imagine. I have 44 of the 46 parallels of my player collection for the Mariners from 2021 Mosaic Baseball, which is some of the worst baseball setup. But I went down this rabbit hole of I can get the rainbow. Now I need the Nebula 101 from a product that nobody rips. So I like old stuff. I like new stuff. I don't really identify with, the vintage collectors. I don't identify with the modern collectors.
I guess if the old stuff, this is always the point. It makes logical sense. If the old stuff doesn't hold value or it's not worth anything, eventually today's stuff is the old stuff. You feel me? In 40 years, whatever's today, and if no one cares about what was 40 years ago, then why is anyone 40 years from now going to care about today's stuff? Just because it's one of one now, or it's a nebula? I mean, I have a hard time believing it.
So I guess it's interesting because we don't really know what 40 years from now is going to look like, because we look back at sports cards from 40 years ago. We're talking about the 1980s, where there was no serial number cards. You didn't start to see rare inserts until the 90s. Now, some of those 90s inserts, Precious Metal Gems to 10, the green ones, those
you're talking about a handful of players. Like I've been looking up, I'm going through every team and going through, like, the Bengals don't have one Hall of Fame. They have 4 Hall of Famers total. Yeah. The Cincinnati, I've only done it with 4 football. They don't have one player that's card relevant. Like, you go get a Corey Dillon, who was a great running back at the time.
Yep.
One of these parallels, one of these for 30, but you could even step up your game. Who else I see? Like Hines Ward, or these bit Jerome Bettis. I don't know if they had the serial number stuff then, but Hines Ward for sure. And it's only a select. Yeah, those Precious Metal Gem. Okay, that's one set, and it's also you're gonna have. We can't tell the future. I do believe that very small select things will hold value. We can have a good idea what it'll be, but most things, 95%, it just can't. It doesn't work. That you're pointing to one specific.
There are players
legendary set.
Yep. There are players that are going to be lost to time. A lot of the players that are playing right now, let's call them the Hall of Very Good Players. They're the players that are going to be beloved by fans and super fans of the team, right? Guys like Hines Ward. I don't know what his stats are. I don't know if he's going to make the Hall of Fame. I don't know.
Probably their best receiver all time, though. I mean, according to things I looked up.
I agree with you, but look at the price of receivers in the league right now. Look at a Jamar Chase compared to a Chase or Joe Burrow.
That's because they play right now.
Right. But go ahead now. Look at the price of, let's say, the Joe Montana rookie to the Jerry Rice rookie. Joe Montana is worth more, and that's just because that's how football is predicated. Same with basketball.
Fair. I see what you're saying.
The big men get zero love in basketball.
Quarterback's the position to collect in football.
Right. But and then in basketball, it's the shooting guard, the shooting guard, small forward. It's the LeBron, it's the Kobe. Even Shaq, compared to those prices, doesn't do the same prices as Kobe. He doesn't do the same.
He also had a bad year. That year was a rough year for cards. Not a good. Yeah.
Sure. Fair enough. But case in point is, there's always going to be players that are just the hierarchy of cards of them playing now aren't worth as much as the quarterback position or whatever position. And as they get older, as they become less relevant, like the same is true. The Hall of Famers, the 1% of players, they're going to rise to the top. They're always going to have desirability. And then the
That's
other
right.
players, the Hall of, one of my favorite players is Felix Hernandez from the Seattle Mariners.
Me too.
I love
Me
Felix
too.
Hernandez to death. I have, so many cards of his, and I'm still
He
buying
pitched
them.
a perfect no-hitter or a perfect game. I think a perfect game on my birthday.
He pitched
Might have been a no-hitter.
He
Now I
pitched a
can't
perfect game, and I know exactly where I was. We were at the river with my friends in 6th inning. He has a perfect game. I'm in the car soaking wet. I got to get in front of a TV. Made it to my friend's house, saw the bottom of the 8th inning, saw the bottom of the 9th inning. So I remember that day. He's one of my favorite players of all time. He doesn't sell for anywhere near what Griffey does.
Of course not. Pitchers don't. Again, you mentioned pitcher hierarchies less than hitter.
Yeah. So it's just market dynamics. And my Mariners just took a 2-0 lead. Pretty important season. But yeah, it's just dynamics of players. And I do agree with you going back to the original point, where in 40 years are going to be all these 101s. I do think that scarcity is going to be important. Is it going to be as important when we go back 40 years and we look at a 10-year run of cards?
That's right. I'm glad you said that.
Victor Wembanyama has 101s. Obviously his rookie 101s and to 5s and all that stuff's going to be fine, I think. But all his second year 101s, well, he's also going to have a 3rd year and a 4th year and a 5th year, and he's going to have a lot of the same 101s. It's interesting to see what those are going to look like.
And then all the players that aren't Victor Wembanyama,
correct?
All the lesser of player.
Yeah, no, the Derek Lively 101s.
Yes,
exactly. Yeah.
So I have to ask on you said when we started, you haven't done an interview like this since 2022.
Yeah.
And so I want to thank you for coming on, and also just how come or why how come?
So my mentality was, if I'm going to do one interview for somebody, I'm going to do all interviews. So this kind of breaks that mold. And also it changes that mentality where, I might, after this interview comes out, I might get asked by 5 people, and I'm going to pick and choose who I want to work with. And the reason why I chose you is I saw a lot of the good work you were doing. I appreciated the content. I appreciated you playing devil's advocate. I like that you are a wrestling fan. And I saw somebody putting a lot of work into their channel. And when I see that, and when I see passion, and you offered for me to come on your channel, at first I was like, I'm just going to stick with my, I'm too busy, whatever. And then I remembered, in our community, I like to give a lot of breakers opportunities. I like to put them in front of my crowd, promote them, and it was the same thing. Like, I thought that you and I, coming from 2 very, very different worlds of the hobby, and I cross over into yours, and, I like $5 cards. I like to rummage through $5 boxes at shows. Don't get to do that much anymore. That's one of the things that I miss the most, just from, don't have the time. I just thought that, we had enough crossover and enough common interests that we would have a good discussion without it feeling like we were on 2 separate sides, butting heads. On the other side, I know that I come from a very different side of the hobby that, number one, you're not on, number 2, you're skeptical of. And, we had some conversation about other breakers and other things. And you and I were going back and forth on Instagram in a very, respectful way, just trying to, feel each other out and, figure out where your stance was, figured out what I thought about it. And I do think that there was a little hesitation on your side, and rightfully so, because there are a lot of people on my side of the industry. What they do it either very, very shady, or they try to make too much money, or, they have questionable ethics and all these things. And there is this very anti-breaker sentiment right now throughout the industry, rightfully so, by, people who think breakers are to blame for everything. And, truth be told, they're not.
Easy target, the easiest target. It's the manufacturer, target. Really, in my opinion, it's the easiest target.
Yeah, we're caught in between a rock and a hard place.
The manufacturer doesn't have a face or a channel.
Correct. So, coming on here, I knew it's very possible I do an interview with you and your crowd. They're, just going to immediately be skeptical. And I thought, well, that's a challenge I want to take. I want to come on there and I want to, kind of maybe educate people that, hey, if you go on Whatnot and you see somebody running a player wheel and trying to get as much money, or even shill bidding in cases, against their people, that's what people think that's what breaking is. And that's not entirely what breaking is. There are honest, hardworking people out there just trying to do a business. I started a business 5 years ago. I didn't think about any of the dynamics of what it would look like 5 years from now. But there are very good, hardworking, honest people who are breakers, who don't partake in any of that, who don't condone any of that, and that's not them, but they are such a smaller segment of that sector of the industry that, the ones that you're being promoted, the ones you're seeing on your timeline and promoted ads are the ones that give breakers a bad name. So
Backyard breaks.
I saw you and I saw what you were doing. I really liked it. I thought you and I could have a really good conversation.
Hey, it has been. This has been. It felt like 10 minutes. We've been going an hour, man.
Yeah.
I wanted to end. I didn't plan, but we're talking about this stuff, and I didn't get you told me your mystery packs. What's your take on something like Arena Club?
I think that there's way too little transparency. And again, this is something that I've dabbled my toes in. I've looked at, I've bought in a few. I'm not going to say which platform because I don't want to promote any of them. I wanted to see how it worked. I wanted to understand the rabbit hole and the gotcha. It worked exactly like I thought it would. Yep. I've heard stories of people hitting the Grail card and then cashing it in, and they just get to reuse that Grail card in a different mystery pack. And if you're hitting the Grail card and you're not shipping it to yourself, you literally open the pack to try to hit that card. And now you sold that back to buy more mystery packs. Like, you already won the game. What are you doing? I saw one you couldn't cash out of. So I'm like, why would I ever do that? Why wouldn't I just ship the card to myself and then, sell it or whatever, but like I said, I haven't done my research on every single one. I'm a big fan of transparency in this industry, and I don't see enough of it there. I don't like that they can look at a mystery pack. I think they can look at a mystery pack, see how many packs they sold, see if the Grail is still out there. And it's like, if there's only 200 packs, they just add more packs, or they just pull the program entirely, put up a different program. It's constantly changing odds. It doesn't seem
they don't run through the whole thing, at least Arena Club.
Right. It doesn't seem like there's a scenario where like the Grail hasn't been pulled and it says only 10 packs left and somebody now has a 1 in 10 chance. If you do it like that, it's fair, but I understand why they don't do it, because if the Grail gets pulled 13 packs in, of course you're just going to make a different program, and that program probably going to have less ROI to cover the loss on your last program. And by program, I mean, like, let's say they do a $500 gold pack. That would be one program, a $500 gold pack with 200 packs, whatever.
Yeah, no one would buy the remaining 400 if it's already pulled.
Right. So it's just like, I think there just needs to be more transparency. There needs to be regulation. And I haven't seen a platform that I like. There should just be more features. Some of them have like trading in a marketplace and things like that. And those are like an afterthought feature compared to the main feature, which is, come on, swipe your credit card, get a mystery pack, get a player you don't like, trade it in. Your $100 is now $64. Oh, you bought another $100 mystery pack. Your new one's $56. You buy another one. Oh, hey, here's one for $125. You cash that in. And it's either you keep doing that until you get the Grail, or you keep doing that until you get a card that you halfway like, or you keep doing that until your balance is zero. And now
that's right. You're just addicted to that rush.
It's the gotcha. It's the rabbit hole. So more regulation, more transparency, fleshing out of additional features that make the platforms more fun. That's what I think all of them need.
And that was nice of you to say, because I have put a lot of effort into this channel and try to take a different way. So I appreciate that. I'm glad to know it somewhat shows on the other end.
Oh, for sure.
Is there anything, we've been almost going an hour. I don't have really much to cut at all. I probably won't cut anything or edit it at all. Is there anything you want, something we didn't cover, something you thought we were going to cover, anything you want to throw out there?
You know what? There is additional topics, but I think they make for better videos where we could do something that's not an hour, because asking anybody to watch a video for an hour is a tough ask.
Yeah.
So I think that there's room to come back on here and do some stuff. No, I think this is the part where I'm supposed to say, come and buy into my breaks and spend all your money with me, but I don't even do that. So, if you want to come see breaking done differently, don't buy anything. Just come to a live stream Wednesday or Saturday. Come watch.
Hey. Oh, you didn't know?
No, don't buy in. Just come on. Just come see how breaking is done.
Better call somebody.
We don't do it like Whatnot. We don't do it like Player Wheels or anything like that. Just come on, have a good time, and don't buy anything. But please, I would say, like I said, breakers get a really bad rap. We're the easiest target to go after. I get it.
So what percentage of you guys are 70% give you a bad name? What's the percentage?
I don't know. Ooh, boy, that's a tough one. I'm gonna say. And I try to stick to things that I like. I don't like actively try to watch things that I don't like. So I don't spend a lot of time on Whatnot unless it's like a breaker who I like. And there are, I know for Whatnot, for all its problems, there are a handful of breakers on there that I love, that are good people who have chosen to work on that platform for all of its flaws. honestly, the percentage, man, it's got to be like 4-1, right? It's
Oh, okay. All right.
yeah, it's
You're
got to be up.
honest.
It's got to be up there. And
James, man,
that's all I got, man.
thank you so much for calling. It was a lot of fun. It's good
Yeah.
meeting you.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me on, and probably do something like this in the future, I would imagine.
Yeah, it was fun.
Talking about all the way to the top, yeah. Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in, but the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
What up, everybody? This is Robert Ory, aka Big Shot Bob, and you're watching Professional Sports Cards. Hey, by the way, go buy my rookie card.